A very good evening to each one of you. Thank you once again to join us today for yet another interesting episode of our SIPCHAT. Today, we are going to have a candid conversation with one of the leader of largest association of Indian physiotherapy, the one who graduated from Nirtar, did his post-graduation from Manipal Institute in first batch of manual therapy, has credit of training more than 5,000 students in manual therapy, has been associated with numerous universities and institutions in India related to manual therapy courses, examiner, board of studies member, external paper setter, etc., have been the member of Central Executive Council of IAP, president of IAP, and has been leading a lot of movements related to regulatory body for Indian physiotherapists. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me to welcome none other than Professor Dr. Umasankar Mohanty. Sir, good evening.
Dr. Neeta, very good evening, and thank you for the invitation, and thank you for nice introduction.
Thank you so much for accepting our request to join us, sir. I know this conversation could be candid. Of course, it's going to be. It could be direct. It could be somewhere, where we're going to touch upon some of the serious and issues which are very relevant to physiotherapy as a profession. I, on behalf of our governing body, the members of Society of Indian Physiotherapists, thank you once again for accepting our request to join us for this candid conversation, sir.
Thank you.
So before we start, let me ask you, how is Bangalore doing, sir? I hope everything is good at Bangalore, your family, your friends and everything.
Yeah, I think everywhere around the world, I think all the people who are watching us also, at this time, it's a critical juncture for all of us, all the entire human population. But I think Bangalore is quite safe relatively, and it is not that bad. Today is anyhow a curfew day. But see, there is a saying that necessity is the mother of invention. So I think in this time we have learned so many things, and we are just waiting the best solution should emerge, from COVID-19. Yes.
I think that's a perfect example. So the city where I am sitting right now is also under lockdown for the weekend.
Yes.
The city you are in also under curfew and a lockdown, but still we are able to talk to each other virtually,
Yes.
connect with each other, and reach out to another hundreds of people who might be watching us via Facebook Live. So that's the technology, the world where we are in, and I think it's going to be new normal now. So
Yes.
So great, sir.
Yes.
So I will not take much time before we start our annual question. Let me come back to you. Our usual question, which I'm sure everybody would like to hear from you. Sir, how come physiotherapy?
Well, I'll be very honest in answering your question, because obviously I was interested for the field of healthcare, and I tried for MBBS, and somehow in our time in Orissa, we had a very limited seats, no private colleges, pure government colleges. And then I happened to appear for the national exam. It's a central exam, all over India exam. That is the NIRTA and NIOH exam. And somehow I was selected in that. And my ranking was not that good in the state health, MBBS seats I was not getting. So I got this, and then that's how I joined. That's how I joined in physiotherapy. Yes, I am very honest about it. But I am very happy, because I really feel happy that I am a physiotherapist. It's a great field, and I have no regrets now that I did not join MBBS. I am rather very happy that physiotherapy is something a great system of healthcare science, and I am really proud to be a physiotherapist.
Thank you so much, sir. You are in physiotherapy. That's what we also, people like us could also be molded into a physiotherapist. You being my teacher, my examiner, my guide during my master's days. So thank you so much for that. Sir, you are from Orissa and you are settled in Karnataka, and that too in Bangalore. Sir, how come this transition from Orissa to Bangalore?
Yeah. See, it is again. I can tell you, it is a mathematics. We read about probability. So I think probability and chance, because although in history and geography we read about from Karnataka means, if I would have known that, I would have heard about polar gold mines. We used to get the question in geography in India, where are the gold mines? Whenever that was the or Bangalore, and maybe Bangalore was also known as a port city. So these are some of the places I knew in geography. But honestly, after our graduation, when I completed, we didn't have post graduation in Orissa, and I decided from my from initial days to be a teacher. Although I was getting a very good opportunity in the clinical practice, and that time I remember one of my senior was there from Xavier Institute. He was offering a great sum of money to start one setup of clinical practice in Orissa. But then I was interested for academics, and that time very few places we had post graduation. That was one at Manipal, then one was Kottayam,
Which
and
year
then
was
we
that?
had
Which year was that, sir?
98.
I can imagine, sir, 98, how it must be difficult, because during our days in early 2000, I mean 2002, 2003, it was also very
Yes.
difficult. So I can imagine what must be the scenario in 1998.
Yes. It was hardly, and Mangalore colleges also PG was not there.
Not there.
In Mangalore colleges also post graduation was not there. So that's why anyhow from another interesting thing, maybe many of the students might be watching our discussion. The very first week of my internship, I applied for nearly 100 colleges across the country for a job.
Like
Physiotherapy,
your first week of internship.
first week of internship. Yes, I thought, I always believed in the theory of probability. If we try, then only we will get something. If we try, it's like life is like game of a football. In a football, when you take the football to the goal post, you keep trying. Not that every shot is going to become a goal. So maybe out of 200, maybe you can hit one, or maybe out of 300 shots you can hit one or two. So that's how I think the game of life is also like that. We have to keep trying, and things emerges. So I think that's how I got a fast job in Bijapur at BLD Medical
Okay.
College, that is in Bijapur. It's a very nice medical college with a lot of patients, a great exposure. For 2 to 3 months I worked there. Then I got the opportunity. I got what I applied in my initial first week of internship. Then I got a call letter after nearly 6-7 months from KMC Manipal for one interview. So I think because just I applied, then I got a chance for interview. I got selected in the interview, and then the Manipal post graduation was there. So I joined as a faculty in KMC Bangalore, and then successive years then also there is another age. That time they were giving only the postgraduate opportunity for only the students of Manipal. But then I knew that I joined as a staff. Maybe I'll get the opportunity. But the very next year, in '99, they opened it for the general, for everybody.
Outsiders as well.
Outside. So anyhow, in the open exam, we had 8 seats, and then I got selected. My rank was 4th, and I got selected, and that's how I joined for my MPT, which was my dream.
And then rest all is history. You never went back to Orissa.
Then I liked the place of Bangalore for its atmosphere, and for its the culture. And then I think my destiny was at Bangalore. I liked the place. Then in the due course of time, I started establishing the Manual Therapy Foundation of India. For I thought, this is a nice place, and I think connectivity from Bangalore to all the places is good. And that's how I think I came all the way from Orissa to Bangalore.
So yes, that's what people say. The loss of Orissa was probably the gain for Karnataka. No, but that's on a lighter note, sir. I'm very well aware your contribution to Orissa. You keep visiting Orissa. You keep contributing about development of physiotherapy in your native state. That's a good idea, sir. And I completely agree with you, sir, about city of Bangalore. Mangaluru, as they call it. I mean, it's a beautiful city, one of the cleanest city, one of the most peaceful city. What people may not agree to that, but one of the city where I've seen raining for about 8 months or 9 months in a year, but still you never seen a waterlogging when I stayed for 2 years. Yes, such a beautiful, such a peaceful people, such a fun-loving people. And probably, sir, correct me if I'm wrong, the city one used to have the maximum number of physiotherapy colleges in India?
Yes, I think density-wise, yes. compared to the area and the number of colleges. I think if I just speak very casually, every 3 kilometers you can find one physiotherapy college here.
Oh my God. So we should be
Yes,
thankful for this city who is actually, giving physiotherapists not only to India, but I think a lot of them are working abroad. So a lot of them will find their roots back to Bangalore. So I think Bangalore could be called as the hub of physiotherapists for around the world. So that's great. And same goes with
yes,
nursing. Great, sir. So you have been advocating and teaching manual therapy for now, I think more than 18 years or so. So,
yes.
and currently manual therapy has actually evolved, or it has, taken a lot of other shape as compared to when you started reading about it. So what is your thought about the current status of manual therapy per se in India, sir?
Uh, uh, um, when I'm talking about manual therapy, let me just add a little bit about how I got interested to the field of physiotherapy itself.
Okay,
That is again, I remember, in Nirtar we had very nice faculties. If I just name our Dr. P.P. Mohanty sir is there,
absolutely.
Dr. Monalisa Patnaik, Dr. Chitra Mishra, Dr. B.K. Nanda. So what happens is, that time when we were taught about biomechanics, I really got very much fascinated with the way the biomechanics works. And manual therapy is the subject with which we apply the biomechanics to the much larger extent. And that's how actually I got and the results. The results what we see so quickly with manual therapy. And that is the reason why. And when I completed my masters, when I was seeing the students, many students used to tell, because they are completing the degree absolutely, but they are lacking the confidence to approach to the patient. That is the reason why I started. I thought maybe we can start one academy of a foundation, which in addition can give extra training to the students. And I'm happy that we started with 2003 February.
Mhm.
Manual Therapy Foundation of India was started, and several thousands of students have learned, and they're very happy. We get regular feedbacks about them, and not only that, you see, in Delhi, Dr. Deepak Kumar is there. He's my senior. He's also doing a great job. So I think that when the concept of manual therapy has changed the life of so many physiotherapists, I'll tell you. Because when the people see the result, and they see that there is a great way of approach to the patient. So I think manual therapy is extremely popular across the world, and it has a lot of promising things. I think still a lot of research work has to be done, because as I understand, as one author, as a researcher about manual therapy, I think we have just identified tip of the iceberg. Maybe 5% of science is explored to the scientific world. Still 90% work of manual therapy and physiotherapy has to be evolved with time. That's what I can tell you. So there is a great future of manual therapy in the future.
So what do you have to say about current status, sir? Are you satisfied the way it is going, or you would like to add something more, or there is something you would like to take it out of from it, the way it has grown in India?
So I'll tell you one thing. The great scientist Stephen Hawking. So I'm very much interested into the understanding life, the philosophy of life. So what happens? Stephen Hawking used to tell one very interesting thing, that the universe itself is imperfect. So nothing is ever perfect in this universe. And if the universe is perfect, it will become static. But the red spectra, the universe is constantly expanding. So I think that universe is also expanding, and as individuals also, we have to keep on expanding our understanding and our concept. So because if you become static in this dynamic world, then you will be lost. So I will suggest every of our colleagues to explore and do the best with every day. Swami Vivekananda tells, expansion is life and contraction is death. So I think we have to always think in more holistic vision of how to make the things better every day and with every time. So that is important for individuals also, and for professionals also, for the society also.
I'm getting a clue that Dr. Mohanty is not going to stop here. There are a lot of new things which you are going to come up for physiotherapy students in times to come. So that brings me to another aspect. There are a lot of techniques which are coming up, and they have been coming up and been added to physiotherapy as a scope of practice. Some may agree, some may not agree, like cupping, diet needling, osteopathy, chiropractic. But I have seen and I've noticed, correct me sir if I'm wrong, you are one of the strongest critics of those techniques being, incorporated or being practiced or being promoted by physiotherapists in India. So what do you have to say about that, sir?
No, no. I am never against any of the scientific concepts. Actually, I am one of the propagator of cross fertilization of the ideas. But what I want that as a physiotherapist, okay, we are taking some techniques from maybe orthopedics or maybe some chiropractic school of thought, maybe from osteopathic school of thought. So we can take those things and we can teach to the physiotherapist. But obviously, they are all independent professionals. See, you want to become an osteopath, you have to study at least 4.5 to 5 years of course like physiotherapy.
Right.
So it is the other way. If suppose some other professional, suppose if I put one counter argument, if some other professional is attending some 2 to 3 days or maximum 10 days of workshop in physiotherapy, will we accept him as a physiotherapist? Obviously no.
No,
right?
sir. Before that, anybody accepting or not, I can imagine the war on Facebook about it. The hue and cry about the Facebook, the whole word will be out on Facebook, whether they fight it.
Obviously, see, if there is a dental conference, I want to understand TMJ, I can attend the dental conference, but I will not become a dentist because of that. I am a physiotherapist. I can take the scientific concepts, what is there in the dental sciences, and then we can cross-fertilize those ideas and evolve it. That is absolutely fine. But then suppose I start claiming myself a dentist, or I attend one osteopathy course for 4 days, 5 days, I claim myself as osteopath. I attend a course on chiropractic, I claim as a chiropractor. So I think it does not appear suitable to the scientific world. I think it is a disrespect to the science and the subject and the contents of those fields. We can take there is absolutely no problem, because in physiotherapy we have a lot of things from anatomy coming, a lot of things coming from biomechanics. So obviously apply all those concepts which is in the physiotherapeutic domain, but let us not what I always give the importance is that be a proud physiotherapist. Take the concept from everywhere, what is possible, what is there in our domain of practice. Yes.
That's great, sir. So now let me ask you about your professional contribution as a physiotherapist and as a leader. You have been the president of one of the largest association, what we know as Indian Association of Physiotherapists, probably for a longest time in a single duration. So from 11 to 2017, and there were a few disputes also. I myself had that, stand at some point of time, and we agreed that we disagree on each other's views. So that's something, again, a beauty of a democracy. And you have led many movements, sir, while you were serving as a president of that largest association. Can you share some experience about leading that association, those movements, and what are the challenges you had faced?
Okay, so I'll just tell you, obviously from our school days we study history. If you take any history book, right now my son is in 10th standard, I am just seeing the history book of 10th standard. You see it starts with European Revolution, American Revolution, Western Revolution, Indian nationalistic movement. So if the history you see, history is full of movements and maybe achievements. Who achieved, who was the king, how he became king, and what are the various this thing. So obviously, if you see our nationalistic movement, obviously when it is coming about movement, when it comes about human civilization, it is always about people getting together and raising some kind of voice. Right. Whether it is we take the example of 1857 Sepoy Mutiny, or coming to the Gandhiji's contribution from at least for 2 to 3 decades, or contribution by Subhash Chandra Bose. What I understood is that always it is essential, and we all agree that physiotherapy has started from 1953 to start with, right? So many years over, but then I think that we did not achieve our legitimate right of the council. So maybe I will appreciate. I have also seen that our predecessors have put a lot of efforts, but then I thought that let us put some more movements. So that is why earlier to me also there were some 1 or 2 movements I have attended. At Delhi there were some movements, but then obviously when till the things are not happening, we have to keep on. In PNF we read one concept of reinforcement. And today only, I'll talk about today's news. Today's newspaper, Times of India front page, I have seen that, there is a disturbance going on in Rajasthan related to the government issue. So Rajasthan CM has told that if the issue is not solved, then we are going to do the gherao at the Prime Minister's residence. So this is what is the example for people, to express what exactly we want. That is why we conducted the movements at Delhi. And I will not tell, I will tell that we have achieved certain things. One example I'll give you. In 2011, we conducted one movement at Delhi, and very next day we met PK Pradhanji. He was the health secretary that time. And then that time it was November 29th and 30th of 2011. We conducted that one of the first movement under my presidency. And then that time we presented him the memorandum and everything. Then you will believe he told that he was going for a planning commission meeting in 2011, and there he put there was a national health mission. So many thousands of physiotherapists are recruited across the country, and that is a contribution from the then health secretary, who came to know about the physiotherapy concern, because when we had meeting, he told that I'll put it, I'll try for your council, but I'll put it for the planning commission. Physiotherapy is so important. I am glad that with that one particular effort, one example I am giving, that at least several thousands of physiotherapists are recruited under the national health mission in all the districts. So obviously they also have a lot of concerns and all. They are asking for their permanency and all these things. So that is one example. And then we conducted some protests at Varanasi, at Dandi. So our aim and objective was to get the attention of the government. That is the thing. So fine, I think.
So these movements were done at Dandi and Varanasi. People ask you so many times, I'm sure you must have answered that, but just for my understanding, why you did in Dandi and Varanasi, not in Delhi?
I'll tell you one very interesting story about it. In 2011, when I was contesting for the post of president, you mentioned about democracy, and democracy as a member, I thought that I'll be a candidate for the president post. I contested, and that time I was going for a entire country tour. Obviously I had been teaching, and I have so many students, this thing. So I went for a tour. Whether I would have lost or I won, I didn't, but I was extremely happy when I visited various hospitals, various colleges. I met some of I saw the departments, this thing. So that was very educative for me. And during that time, I remember Dr. Anand Misra, he was also a contestant. He just called me and told, "Sir, aap kya Dandi Yatra kar rahe hain abhi?" So then that clicked in my mind. You see, in the place of Dandi is so famous in the everywhere. Dandi movement. If you ask any student who has forgotten history also, you tell one movement of nationalistic movement, he will tell the Dandi movement. Dandi movement, nobody will forget. Correct. So that is why I conducted the movement at Dandi. Another point was the Prime Minister is from Gujarat. So as you mentioned initially, just let us analyze the psychology. See, you mentioned that, sir, you being from Orissa, what is your contribution to the state of Orissa? So obviously, we are all concerned about we are concerned about the country, we are concerned about the world, but we are little bit slightly more concerned about the place where we belong from.
Absolutely.
That was also one reason. That one thing is that Gandhiji did the movement at Dandi. One thing, then the Prime Minister is from Gujarat. So definitely we are going to get more attention. That was the prime cause for doing the movement at Dandi. Another for Varanasi, because Varanasi is his constituency. So suppose we are doing one movement in Varanasi, in the constituency of Honorable Prime Minister. So the attention will be relatively more than if I do a movement at Bangalore. So that is the point. That was the logic.
So basically, so you had your reasons to do that. Some people may agree, may not agree for those reasons, and everybody, like I may not agree for a few of the things, but yes, you had your own reason and you had more, your commitments to pursue that. I think the goal was very clear. The way you move towards that goals may differ from person to person. I think that's very captured, and we have to respect each other's point of view at that point of time. So now moving on to international platform, we all know that IAP is not part of WCPT. Because of certain reason, they were asked to be expelled or they were removed. First they were suspended. Till now, we are not back in that. And I remember, so those days there was a campaign, a big campaign at national level. Sometime even you spoke about that campaign, that WCPT is of no use. Rather, we are wasting money. being member of WCPT, and WCPT is also like an association like IAP. So rather they should become member, or all these kind of a campaign. But now suddenly again we see there is a change of thought process in that. People have realized, yes, WCPT has importance. We should be part of. India should be represented there, and there is a change of whole thought process. I know you have been to WCPT's office personally. I've seen that pictures, and we spoke. There's a change of heart, rather I would say that. But in this course, people like us, we had lost so much opportunity. We were not allowed to register. So that's a separate thing. We can talk about it in the stage. So why do you think this change has happened over this period, sir?
No, first thing is that actually, honestly, I am not against WCPT. In fact, I have personally visited the WCPT office in London, main office. And because I have a great respect for WCPT. But only concern what people had was the major chunk of economy what we have to share with WCPT. That was the only concern. And I think that also remains a major concern, because obviously in the present scenario, if we calculate, it will be coming near to 40 to 45 lakhs of Indian rupees per year.
But sir, we have that membership strength, sir. I mean, this is nothing specific to India. That's rule for everybody in the world. So why do
I strongly agree, because I strongly agree with that. But that was, because there is a great one very important word in politics called as vox populi and pro bono publico. Vox populi means voice of people. So what I think that was when it was discussed in the GB general body. I think general body this matter also was discussed. I think in Delhi GB or in some of the GBs you were also present, where related to the finance aspects of WCPT was discussed. No, that was the only point of disagreement or concern was related to the finance issue. What we have to share with WCPT. So in my personal opinion, if it is a chunk of about 5 lakh, 10 lakh rupees for a big association to be member of WCPT, that is fine, because there are so many other international organizations also. Like you say, I'm not talking about only related to WCPT or something like International Association of Study of Pain is there. Mm-hmm. There are so many international organizations, but where the chunk of finance involved is relatively small. Sorry. So the issue is related to, definitely it is extremely important to be associated with one world body, but only concern was related to the finance what we have to share. That is the only thing. So still I believe that if some of the other way there can be some kind of consideration that the new members has to pay or certain things, that will be good. But in my opinion, maybe maximum 5 to 10 lakhs or that is what in common people talk about. And I am also of that opinion. I may be wrong. I'm not justifying myself, but that is just my personal opinion.
No, absolutely. This opinion does matter, and I think it's mainly because of the population in terms of number. Second is the currency exchange rate. So both has an adverse effect towards the amount at the end calculation. But I think we also need to.
Another thing I just want to add. In many other international organizations like APTA and all, they are having a time frame of membership. And see, like maybe for 3 years or 5 years, many countries have the time slot. Ours is relatively a small amount. If you see the international pricing, 3,000 rupees was collected as a membership fee, and from that amount to share that so that is a. I think some kind of reconciliation has to be done in the process. So, but honestly, my personal opinion is we should be with WCPT. Maybe maybe that financial part we can negotiate with them or we can work out. That is a different thing. But my personal opinion is India should be part of WCPT.
Right. So I remember when this discussion started, we did a internal maths. I paid about 2,000 rupees to become a member of IAP, and I made that calculation. IAP had spent 2,800 on me within 5 years.
Yes.
So that's not something. And about that, till now, we don't have active number of membership because a lot of people have gone abroad. A lot of people are not active in practice. So I think that's something which we need to do. As you suggest, there has to be a number of active members, and the life membership concept has to go away. And then there has to be a tenure base. Like in society, we started with 4 years membership. that has to be
Correct.
reviewed. So I think that's
Correct.
something very important aspects of what you shared with us. So coming back to India again now, but something important to professional association. There are many professional association and bodies which are currently active, which is not a new phenomena, sir. I remember during my student days also, there were a lot of association who used to be active with a specific objective. In fact, you mentioned you have your own association or a body, which is again registered under the same act called Manual Therapy Foundation of India, and it works with a specific objective.
Yes.
So, what is your thoughts? Does these many association create confusion among therapists, or it is good to have numerous platform where you can represent and talk about your own thought process? What do you think about it, sir?
I will answer this question from a very from human psychology and philosophical point of view. After all, why associations? Associations are made. Again, I'll tell you for one prime purpose is pro bono publico. Pro bono publico is one word which was is a legal term which was introduced by Julius Caesar. So what is that? Pro bono publico means obviously one person is not able to do some welfare activity. So maybe two people can do better. If collectively 10 people are there, they can collectively do more better work. Now, similar, one of the classical example is you are staying in a flat, I stay in a flat, or I run my clinic in a commercial place. In both the place where I stay, we have got association. What the association is meant to do? To maintain the flat so that everybody is more comfortable. In the office space also, I have got a clinic here also, we have got association. So primary purpose of association is to make the things more better. So I think that if 4 or 5 physiotherapists are getting together to conduct, to open a group of chain of clinics, absolutely it is fine. It is under the law, it is absolutely fine. It is nothing wrong. You see, why only physiotherapy? Let us see the medical fraternity. Medical fraternity is much more older than us.
Larger, right.
There is Indian Medical Association is there. In Bangalore, we have got Family Doctors Association is there. We have got Pathological Societies there. We have got Orthopedic Societies there. We have Surgeon Societies there. We have got so many. Similarly, dentistry also, we have got the Indian Dental Association, but then you have got Maxillofacial Surgeons Association. You have got this thing. So I think associations in all the field, it is not one. It is always numerous. But our aim and objective should be for welfare of society and welfare of the members. If you are doing it, absolutely fine. There is nothing wrong in it. It is allowed and it is constitutional and legally allowed. So we just cannot tell that only one association, there will be one big fees and no other fees will be there. That kind of jungle rule is not applicable in civilized society. So it is a general term I am giving that what is existing as per the Indian law.
Right. And sir, how good it is? I mean, is it? I'm asking you because I'm your student and I have a right to ask you. Is asking question really a bad thing?
I think asking question is a birthright. because what is the difference from one animal and one human being then? There is a nice sloka. Of course, our India is a very old civilization. So let me just have the privilege to quote two lines from Manusmriti, one of the oldest scripture. Ahara nidra bhaya maithunacha samanentaranam dharma hi tesa madhika vishesha dharmena hina pasubhi samana. So this defines, the food, sleep,
so
procreating.
You'll have to explain this.
Yeah. Ahara means food, nidra means sleep, bhaya means fear, and procreation. That is common for animals and human beings. What is the difference? Dharma hi tesa madhika vishesha. Dharma means the power of discrimination. The power of discrimination comes out of question. Out of question. You see the oldest scripture, Bhagavad Gita. What is it? Arjuna is questioning Lord Krishna for his solution. Why the ancient days the children are going to the Gurukul? What they are doing? They are asking questions to the teacher. So asking questions, Chanakya also tells, while having food and while reading, you should ask as many questions as possible. So questions must be asked. Forget about anything. You have cleared BPT. I have cleared BPT, MPT. Recently, I should congratulate you. You have done your PhD. In PhD, by the question was asked you to or not.
Right.
So how the things are possible. So questions are always there, and when questions are there, you have to find the solution to the question. Remember one very important thing: if we are not part of the solution, then we are part of the problem. So there has to be always attempt to take those questions and solve the questions. We should not stop that people should not question us. It is a very wrong attitude.
Right. So that's actually strengthened the process of welfare rather, I would say that. You may agree again, as I said, you may disagree, but
just to add, what is happening in Lok Sabha? What is happening in Rajya Sabha? It is purely question and answer session going on there.
Right.
The entire, we cannot tell that no question should be asked. If no question should be asked, then how the parliament will run, how the Lok Sabha will run, how the Rajya Sabha will run, how the association will run. Everywhere questions need to be asked. In our society, people keep asking questions. This is not there, that is not there. So we have to take those questions and then find a solution to the problems. If it is there, if it is a legitimate problem. Yes.
Absolutely. And it has to be asked in a proper manner, in a proper language, with a proper intention. So that's most important. And then absolutely, I'm sure if somebody does that, they will find an answer to that. Not only in association or society, sir, even in a family, even in an academic institution, even in your workplace. I think this philosophy has to be, respected if we have to move forward. So that's very true, sir. Sir, nobody actually is unaware about your love towards these words, Greek language especially. I have heard now at least 2 to 3 times, pro bono, suo moto. You have been using these words in a lot of your communication. Whenever you write to a authority, society, whenever you talk to somebody outside India, I have seen these words, more often used by you. I mean, how do you get these words, sir?
No, actually, I have a great habit of understanding and dissecting the human psychology, and that's why I spend a lot of amount of time to read, Aristotle, Plato, Socrates, Voltaire. So I have read numerous times their works, and one of the first book what I read, voluminously was my experiment with truth in my first year of BPT.
Mahatma Gandhi.
Mahatma Gandhi. This is my experiment. Not exactly first year, just slightly before, when I was preparing between the, after +2 and, just joining this thing. During that transition phase, I read and that was very inspiring book what I read. And Swami Vivekananda's books. I have read all 9 volumes of Swami Vivekananda's complete works. And I would like to add one very important thing. And I have a lot of, Dr. Nitesh, you might have seen me in a different way as a teacher, but maybe very honestly, I'll tell you, I had a lot of stage fright when I was in the school days. I had a lot of fear. I studied in military school, but while going to present and all, I had a lot of difficulty. Then I was reading one book by Swami Vivekananda. There are 2 lines actually changed my life. The 2 lines was that if you want to improve in life, then you should communicate yourself. You mentioned one very important point. We may agree, we may disagree, or we may mutually agree, we may mutually disagree. That is a different issue. But it is extremely important to express our views. And believe me, that 2 lines of Swami Vivekananda have changed me a lot. A person who could not speak. Now I compare myself honestly with myself. I am happy that at least I express my ideas. People accept it. Some people may not accept it. Some people question it. It is absolutely fine. But there is a growth. So I think that for improving in any field, as a student, as one teacher, we should always communicate. And that effective communication, and what we should communicate, we should think so many times in our hippocampus, and then we have to communicate. Because that word has to be, what is spoken has to be maximum error-free according to our own analysis. Simply what we think, we should not just speak it out. So I think that's how I learn so many things every day, and that's how I have learned. Another important thing, what I always tell, the word of Hippocrates, primum non nocere, very very important. That in Hippocratic oath, first do no harm, very very important thing. So these are some of the words, more short phrases, but it carries a lot of meaning.
Absolutely, sir. It's very important for a human and a mankind to grow and sustain. I think
Yes,
very
yes.
well said. That I think two messages what you have given us very clearly, that you have to be, open-minded, and you have to keep adopting to new things while it is reading, while it is, subscribing to a philosophy. So that will make you a better human being and a better professional as well. But sir, still, I will not take away that when we read your letter, we have to search those words and understand the answer. But that ultimately helps us. We don't have to refer it back second time. So that we have added to our vocabulary or our dictionary, Sango. Thank you so much for that, sir. So let me come back to your your as a physiotherapist come back. You were probably the pioneers or first few people who started teaching manual therapy as a group outside the academic atmosphere. I mean, outside formal BPT in Karnataka and Bangalore per se. I remember those days in 2003, 2004 when I was doing my master's. So how that journey started, what challenges did, I'm sure few people must have, kind of disagreed with you that time. First few must have said something, few might have supported you as well. So how was that journey actually you have been so far?
So as I mentioned you that I was deeply influenced with Swami Vivekananda, and I just mentioned that I had the idea, then I thought about it. I did the legal procedure of registration and all. Then we started the foundation. Obviously, at that time my age was I think 27, and of course that time the resource people, understanding of a resource person was somebody has to be very very old enough, maybe
White, gray
people
hair.
like, yes, 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 gray hair or no hair, just in a more casual way. I'm just telling. Maybe it was understanding is that something above 55 or 60 is the time when you become a resource person. That I was told like that. But then I thought that see, if I have certain things and if somebody feels that he or she has something to learn from me, and I told them that of course I am a professional after my bachelor itself I am a professional, but after my MPT I am specialized with both one with manual therapy specialization, and I want to teach to the people, and it is very much allowed. I asked to my lawyers also, article 19, article 21 of Indian Constitution 51A allows you to you to teach. So I thought, see, when I have knowledge, I have skill, and legal it is wise, it is registered, it is legally allowed. So absolutely, I have got every right to teach. I had some resistances, but I just told them that please refer the Indian Constitution, Article 19, 20, 21, and 51A, and then after that, revert back to me. After that, honestly, nobody has reverted back.
So you have given them an answer and you have shown them the path regarding with that. But so nice to learn about your journey, sir, when you started as a student who started applying from the very first week of internship, doing his master's. I think one of the first batch which had a master's with manual therapy, if I'm not wrong.
Yes,
And then
yes,
leaving
yes.
that institution from a small room, and now you're teaching at international platform. Thousands of students all over the world who have learned manual therapy from you. And you also have been taught by leaders in manual therapy right
Yes, yes.
across the world. So that's been a great. Sir, also on your personal side, I know there is a painting which I saw just yesterday. You have painted a
Yes.
beautiful boat. I mean, it's something amazing. I can't imagine that you are equally good a painter as you are a manual therapist or a physiotherapist. I mean, tell us something about this hobby of yours, sir.
Now, I'll tell you another interesting thing. During my first year of BPT, again once, because I won national level prize in my school days in painting,
Okay.
and my two of my paintings were selected in the national level, and I have won some other prizes also. So when I was doing my BPT first year, then I'm very honest in my conversations. So sometimes I used to think maybe I can take the career of fine arts. But then in my second year I changed I found the subject very interesting, and then I got no, I'll pursue in this field only. But I then show you that
Yes, sir,
it is on my
please.
table only. It is on my table. This is the one
Lovely.
what I just it is not over, it is in the process. It is in the
But
process.
first impression gives me that you're trying to, portray a mask which will save you. So I think this gives you, but it's amazing when you look into deep and more insightful it gives you. And there are a lot of others. I remember, so during our post-graduation day, I remember all five of us, myself, Sriram, Purushottam, Vamshi, and Prashant, and I think Santosh, Brijesh, Aksh, all of them,
Yes.
I'm sure you will remember, recall them. when
Yes,
we
yes,
used to
yes, yes.
study under you as a master's student, you used to also draw sketches of, anatomy, physio, or some movements describing. So
Yes,
you
yes,
still do
that,
that, sir?
that I'll show you. But before that, I just want to really, they say that in our civilization there is no much of difference between a father and son and a student and protege, and a teacher and protege. Protege means student.
Right.
Teacher and student relationship. It is as sacred as a father and son relationship.
Right.
So I really honestly feel proud of myself, that I am interviewing with my student, Dr. Nitesh Bansal. I am really very proud of you. You have really grown up very well, and I'm really very proud the way a father feels proud of son's achievement. I think that is what I can tell. More things we cannot express by words. So I'll
I'm
show some
rather
of
thankful to you, sir. I mean, listening these words coming from you, and despite that, you know very well how much difference we had in, in certain issues, and that still continues. But despite that kind of a respect with the teacher and love, affection I have got from you, that's amazing. And I really thank you for that, sir. Thank you so much.
I have difference of opinion sometimes with my father also. I have difference of opinion sometimes with my son also. So as I told that the teacher and protege, there we have to decide. I always respected critics. I always respected multiplicity, expression of ideas. Absolutely no problem. That has to be done.
जैसे लोग बोलते हैं सर दाग अच्छे हैं, difference of opinion भी अच्छे हैं.
Yes. You see some of the other works.
Absolutely, sir. Butterfly, beautiful.
Maybe I'll show you some of the other interesting ones. This is one during Diwali time I did Diwali days.
So real, doesn't look like that it has not been printed. Great.
And this is another one. You can see on right. And today is Kargil Divas, and I paid our tribute to all the Kargil warriors. And this is Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, one of the biggest warrior the Indian continent has seen. So this is Gandhiji's. I did on Gandhiji's birthday. I'm an ardent follower of Gandhiji.
Oh my God! So you are as good as physiotherapist or physiotherapist as a painter. Amazing.
This is Hippocrates, father of medicine.
Right.
This is depicted in my book, one of my book.
Lovely. Where do you get so much of time? So much of you must be needing a lot of peaceful environment around you to put this on sketch or put this on.
I told some of the professional drawings. This is sacroiliac arms and the thoracic region. So there are so much of works are there. But I honestly, Dr. Nitesh, I feel that many times I feel that still I could have done much more. I have wasted maybe a lot of my times, which I could have translated into more productivity. And I am a critic, self-critic always. I hardly, I criticize myself, analyze myself much more than what I do analysis of others. If I do a self-analysis, I am happy with the way God has given me. The universe has supported me, and people like you have supported me. Great students, great teachers, great community of physiotherapists have supported me. I'm highly indebted and grateful to everybody in the world from the physiotherapy community. But I think I am very, very proud about it.
No, thank you, sir. Thank you for the way you are, and thank you for being the way you are. I am sure you will continue contributing for profession, for society, for all of us. Before we sign off today, sir, let me ask you for an advice for young physiotherapists. What you have to say if you have to tell them something today.
Okay. So as you mentioned about the Greek philosophers, I will put two thoughts to the students, because it is all thoughts which are extremely important. As I said, 2 lines of Swami Vivekananda changed my life. So, and you see these great philosophers, Aristotle, Plato, Socrates, these have contributed immensely. So I'll put 2 quotes, one from Socrates, what I always think. Socrates told that if you are not working to your maximum potential, you are cheating yourself. Very, very important word. As a student, if you are not putting your best of efforts, you are cheating yourself. You are cheating your parents who are putting a lot of hard-earned money on you. as a family man, if you are not putting your 100% for your family, you are cheating your family. As one custodian or as a teacher, you are teaching as a faculty, you are not working your 100%. Again, you are cheating. You are a therapist, you are seeing your patient, you are not giving your 100%, you are cheating. So this two line, I think we all have to be remember, you have to give your 100% whatever work you do, number one. Number two, a great statement by Aristotle. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act. Excellence is matter of habit. So if we have to cultivate excellence, we have to make it one habit. And constantly we have to pursue. Constantly we have to work. There is nothing called a genius. All of us are given 1,000 billion neurons. And it depends on what work, on what focus, what productivity we are doing. So I will wish that all the physiotherapists wish all the best, and to the students, I will tell you that this is one of the best profession you are in. Do your best of efforts, and I can give the example of Dr. Nitesh, who himself has excelled so nicely, and he is one of the registrar in one of the reputed university, and he is one of the example for that. And maybe I am little elder to him, and maybe I am also very happy to be in the path of physiotherapy. So just keep working your best, and the universe will always support the hard work and sincerity. Thank you very much.
I think, sir, I got my message that you have to be best in whatever you do. Second thing, the constant effort, nothing less than that, and be happy in what you do. So that's one of the strongest message one can have it, and the life will become much easier for anybody if we adopt this. Once again, Dr. Mohanty, thank you so very much for taking us your time. I mean, I know you are on a Sunday, you have come to your clinic, sitting and doing this chat with us. Thank you so very much, and thank you for the way you have been. And I'm sure physiotherapy profession and society and mankind as a large will have a lot of benefits from you from time to come. Thank you once again for joining us. On behalf of all the members of Society of Indian Physiotherapists, thank you once again for joining us, sharing your experience and thought with us. Thank you, Dr. Mohanty. Thank to each one of you for joining us today this evening. Look forward to see you. As you know, now we will be doing a SIPCHAT and SIPWeb on 2nd and 4th Sunday. Thank you so very much until we meet on August 9, where we are going to come up with a very interesting topic in pediatric physiotherapist, jointly delivered by a physiotherapist and occupational therapist. So look forward to see you on August 9. Thank you so much.